Okay, welcome everybody to Spirit Doodling, the effortless expression of NoMind. I'm Victoria Friedman, and I'm co-founder with Ron Friedman of This Star Foundation. And we are involved in consciousness and creativity and communication. So this is a form of creativity and communication, Spirit Doodling. Anyway, I did this book called Spirit Doodling, the effortless expression of NoMind, because I have been doodling all my life. So if you have been a doodler and you've been doodling all your life, welcome. And if they told you you weren't paying attention, that was incorrect, because I did some research on it, and turns out that people who doodle actually comprehend more of what they're hearing than people who just listen to a lecture or information. So that's one thing. People who doodle are usually smarter. Just giving us a little help here. Now notice all this is about our brain and our comprehension. And that has not been my experience. Or maybe, I don't know if I comprehend more when I doodle, but I know when I start to investigate it, that something more was happening than just in my brain and my mind. And this happened on Oprah Winfrey with Eckhart Tolle. I was doodling on their conferences, the webinars that they had together long ago. And I was doodling and doodling while I was listening to them. And then every night I throw them away. I just threw away. They were pencil, and they were like all over the place. They didn't have any interest for me. And then because of Eckhart Tolle, perhaps, and perhaps because of Oprah and the whole thing there, that all of a sudden I looked down and I said, what am I doing here? What is happening? Like, what is happening right here that is going on? And, I couldn't tell. And then I began to realize and see that I was looking forward to doodling as much as I was looking forward to Oprah and Eckhart Tolle. So here is a blank piece of paper. So if you've been doodling before, then you know it just comes out. It just seems to happen. It just flows out, and it's relaxing, and that's all you might know about it. And when you look at it, you might like it or not like what seems to have happened, but basically it's just happening. And again, into inquiring into this, I began to see that it's a meditation. Something is happening that is not happening through the mind. That's why we called it effortless expression of NoMind, because the source is effortless. Thinking things out, planning them, organizing them, constructing them, and putting them together, making plans, reworking. That's a wonderful, wonderful thing that the mind does. But in spirit doodling, actually, the mind is becoming a total servant. And I'm sure you've all heard that, this mind should be a servant. But actually it is. It is a servant. It's there. It is definitely there. It is, in different ways. And by the way, it is the most perfect place to really observe what your mind tries to do, what it does with spirit doodling. So I don't know if anybody's out there with a pencil and paper, but I will just start here to show you a little bit of what could happen. Okay? So, by the way, this pad, which I found in a store that really was a very exciting, let me go down here, exciting thing for me, was this pad that said, it said paper, non-bleed paper that was for non-bleeding. So if you've ever been a doodler and you've started working and then it kind of smushes, which could be beautiful, but there is non-bleed paper, and there are non-bleed pens. Okay, this is a non-bleed pen, this kind of pen. It's a micron pen, but the regular pen that is Sharpie, a Sharpie fine line pen, it says non-bleeding right on the Sharpie thing, right at the pharmacy, wherever you get it. And those pens are great. So anyway, I got this pad and I started listening to Oprah, Eckhart Tolle, who we love. And, I started at the same time I started doodling. So if you have a paper and pen while we listen to this, perhaps you would like to take your pen and on the paper, why don't you just start and, just follow me. I know we all have to be original, but sometimes when we're learning something, we can follow someone. Since spirit doodling comes from the source, there's a real question of who is the doodler and where do the ideas come from, who they belong to. There's a lot of questions here that are very metaphysical questions. So if your mind is starting to say, oh, I'm just following what she's doing, or I'm copying that. That happens a lot to people who start spirit doodling, and that mind and ego, they're right there, That is just not true. Okay? So maybe you could put that aside, but watch that. Where does it say that in our lives? Because our lives are like spirit doodling. Okay, so I'm going to start with a circle, and you can make a circle. Now, if you notice, I don't know if you can tell, but my circle is hardly perfect. This is not a perfect circle. If you want a perfect circle, you could take a little form here and go around it, and then you would have a perfect circle. But, where this is coming from is not a machine. So perfect is a big question also. What is perfect? So here we are with the circle. Now, if you have the circle, what you can begin to do is put circles around the circle. Okay? Now I'm taking little circles around the circle, all the way around the circle. You know why? Because the universe loves circles. The planets are in circles. And when we doodle, we actually are creating a universe. When I say we, we'll have to investigate that. But we're creating a universe here, and it doesn't take 7 days, but it could. So we are creating a universe of circles. And then maybe, notice, by the way, try to be slow about this. The rhythm that we usually are in is really very fast. People go like this. See? Just try to be a little slower. Watch it go around. Watch that circle happen. Watch it happen. Watch that hand go around. You find your breathing starts to be a little bit slower. There's a relaxation. The mind is getting a little quieter. Now, see this little spot here? Close up enough. There's like a little spot here. I kind of like that, so I'm going to take that in and make that a doodle inside it. See? I'm just liking that. Okay? So if you have done that, maybe now we can all put a little round black dot. Noel, can they all see that? It's closer, right? Oh, Noel is lost.
Really good. Looks really good.
Okay, so you can see that. So,
oh, yeah.
So, okay. So if you notice, I'm very relaxed. And so I'm going to put another circle in here. And then I'm going to put another circle in here. And I'll just continue it till it stops. So I hope you're going with me with this. I wish I could see what you're doing if you're on there doodling. I think my sister said she'd be on here, but she doesn't doodle. She doesn't get it. So, but her husband, who's a lawyer, he doodles. Okay. So now I've gone that far. So one thing that is so interesting about doodling that you can take a look at is something called comparative judgment. Because this is an exploration of the mind, and it's such an opportunity to see what the mind does to anything creative that comes through. Because we're creating as the source with the source. As the source with the source. So what are we comparing it to? Comparative judgment. Often people say, oh, I can't do it as well as Victoria. So start watching your mind with that. It's such an important lesson in life. Doodling is life, and it's such an important lesson. comparative judgment. We all have it. We all are conditioned with it. We're conditioned to compare something. There is so much doodling on the internet. And you know what? A lot of it is 100 times better than what I consider my doodling, and different and just wondrous. But the mind is just always doing comparative judgment. It is comparing, it is criticizing, it is resisting, not good enough. Those are things of the mind. It can go on because we're going to keep on doodling. And that's what we do. And the mind will quiet down and the doodle will fulfill itself. So let's just go back here. For example, say you're doodling and you're going here, there's like a little opening space here. And I'm saying, I think I'm going to take that and bring it out. Let's take that space and bring it out and take another one and take another one. And then I kind of like that. So I go around. Aha. Okay. Now it's really taken off. What is the mind saying? Is it saying this is not good? You're not having a good time? You're not doing well? What's it doing to this beautiful, pristine, just completely relaxing situation? So my husband, Ron, who is a poet, and his poetry also, we kind of, this is what we are dedicated to, that spontaneous creativity, that creativity just flows from us because it just is there. And he does his poetry like that. So Ron, come in here while I doodle and tell us a little bit about that.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, great. Should I start my video? I'm not as pretty as you are, but I'll take a chance. There I am with my cosmic background. Because doodling and poetry, when it's spontaneous, which it often is, comes from a source you could say is cosmic. As a matter of fact, one of the things that has always struck me about Victoria, watching her doodle, watching the outcome of this effortless flow, which she seems to be in whenever I look at her doodling, it's astonishing. But in a way, it's very similar to what happens to me on many of my poems, where in a certain place, and I do have to be in a certain place, either between sleeping and waking, or in a very high energy emotional state, very quiet. There's an invitation to this effortless flowing thing that is happening. So Victoria, would you like me to read a quick poem? Very short.
Absolutely.
This is about
please, whoever's out there, don't stop doodling. Because nothing could be better than doodling while you're listening to a poem. And, like when you see this now, this, I've kind of tried to fill out like that very freely. But, now I'm going to go in and try to just enter into those little spaces. Like, for example, this space here, that little space, what's in there? Okay, Ron, take us away.
Okay, keep on doodling. For sure. And we were talking about this place where the creativity seems to reside and express itself to ourselves, whatever way we love to create. So I call this place NoMind. NoMind. NoMind's a place where all things are born. All things are born, flowers designed, and doodles form. Where patterns considered unrefined are all harmonized to a discerning soul delight. Where ego's foothold at last gives way and finally bows down to creation's loving play. So, dear doodler, join these dancing patterns of light. And on these pages, find evidence of NoMind's silent might.
Thank you, Ron. So it's just like the universe is really a doodle. We're a doodle. Our form, look at us. What is a doodle? It's a form that, and every doodle is different. There are no doodles that are the same. None. I'm going to let somebody in. Mary. No doodles are the same. And you know what? You might have a pattern that you use a lot, you use over and over again. Who cares? Those patterns are never the same. There are a lot of flowers. The doodler of the flowers. Some of them look the same, but no two are the same. You know about the snowflakes, you know about the sand. Maybe planets are the same way. It doesn't matter. This is beyond the mind. And does not have to do with talent. Very often talent in our material world is somebody who has a lot of skill with their hands. Now, I have some skill in my hands, especially since I've been doodling for forever, that maybe I have a little bit more, but there are people who have a lot more skill in their hands. It's just skill. Their hands have just, I don't know, they had hands that had that quality. They're a tool, like a brush that's a very good brush. Some people have hands that are like that, but it has nothing to do with creativity. It's just wonderful to have a tool and to have that creativity. But if you don't have a tool, the creativity just also radiates out just as well. So here we are. One thing about this is say, this happened to me once. I was like doodling and I don't know what happened. I just went like this. And I went, oh, I made a mistake. Hear that? Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I ruined this piece. It's ruined. Oh my God, I don't like that. It's ruined. It's a mistake. Well, you hear these things so clearly when you're doodling because we're so connected to that flow, to that source that is not a mistake. There are no mistakes. I know it. There are no mistakes. So when I saw that, when I perceived my mind and I realized, I discovered inside me that there cannot be a mistake in this field. I took that little thing that I didn't like just to be ornery and I added it everywhere. I just went, I am just taking that mistake and I'm going to put it everywhere because it got me mad that somebody said there was a mistake. There is no mistake. And I started putting it everywhere like that. And not even exactly like that. And then I started letting myself enter that mistake. Like, what could that mistake be doing? Like, what is it doing? Is it going like that? Is there going to be a little bit of fill in here? I love filling places in. Just sometimes if you want to start, just do a square and fill it in, with 4 things in it, fill it in all different things. If you did your whole paper and you did a square and you filled it all in with a different little pattern, at the end of it, you'd be somewhere else. You wouldn't even be there. There would be love for it. And if you don't know enough patterns, go on Google. Go on Google and find some patterns and just put them in your doodle. It's completely fine. So anyway, so I started filling in this mistake. I wish I had that doodle that I did that in. And I started just like doing something like this, and I said, do I like that mistake? I just did something like that, like I might do something like that. And then I go, you know what? I really like the idea of all these having that little thing in there. So I have different pens have a little bit, the pens have different size tips. So you can look around. Like if you can get a set that has from small to medium, different tips, but they're all non-bleed. And so you can't smooth them if you go over it with your hand. So, I really could not spend the time here with you adding all this on. I hope you're doodling, and because when it's a bigger space like this, I might use a bigger a bigger tip so it doesn't take as long or just is more black or I don't know what. One thing is that we begin to teach our mind that it cannot have a preference. I know that sounds really strange, but God, our mind likes and dislikes everything every minute, all the time, so quickly. We don't have a chance to breathe. Really. I don't like that. I like that. I don't like that dress. I don't like that hair. I don't like that makeup. I like this makeup. I like that hair. Just constantly. And we believe it. That's the amazing thing. We go with it. Sometimes we stop and say, well, maybe I do like it like that. That's all mind. In spirit doodling, it has no preferences. It really doesn't. It emanates from the unknown, and there's no preferences. It doesn't mean there isn't love and like of some line that you make, like, oh, this looks nice, or not. It's going on. The mind is going on. But it's almost like the doodling is doing itself, and the mind is becoming a servant and just taking a look and, seeing what can happen here. I'll see what I'm doing here. So I'm just kind of filling in this little spot right here. Okay. Now, it's not something that happened. This is a big piece of paper, by the way, and I'm actually doing it faster because I'm on here with you, and my mind is like helping me out here, sort of, but, that goes like, what's going on there? Oh my God, something wants to happen. Something wants to come out, like with these circles. For example, let me just show you this. Like if you start with a circle, let me just put this aside for 1 minute. See this one? I started with that circle. And then I did what we're doing today. I put circles around it. It's a smaller piece of paper. I put circles around it. And then I just made a lot of circles. And then I began to go in and fill in. Like now I feel this is done. When it's done, they're kind of done for me. On the other hand, they're never done. They're just like that sky behind me. What do we know? Where is the end of that? So right here, if I wanted to, I could go in here and, add things in here. And I could go over here and perhaps, do a big form that is going off. Oh my God, it's going off the paper. Where is it going? Where is it gone? It's off the paper. Off the paper. Way off, all the way over there. It's gone away. Now you see when I did this, I wanted to go over that line again, but I didn't, which is perfectly wonderful because now I can just fill that in. See how I can just fill that in? This is the first time I'm doing this online with Bob and Noel. They're the ones that encouraged me to do this, and I've never ever done this online, so I don't know what's happening, but I hope people are watching, getting the feeling of it. So you can see, all I did is decide to add another little opening here, and then it's just so kind of interesting. You go, what's inside there? Is there anything inside there? Oh, wait a minute. They're like these little things went in here. Maybe these things start going out. So maybe it's something like that. Something in there. Is it going out? What do you think, Ron? What do you think? What do you think should be in there?
I should warn you that as you're doing this, I'm doing my own doodle.
Oh my God.
I'm not going to show it to you, but it's fascinating.
Oh no. Why not? Oh, just pick it up. Oh, you're not on screen. Okay.
It's not, yeah, I'm not, I can't get on the screen. It's a work in progress. I don't know if you can see it.
You have to hold it on your chest. That looks incredible. On your chest. It's really hard for us to see it that way. It is for me anyway. Maybe Facebook.
I did see it when he held it on his chest. We did see it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Noel. Well, are you doodling? Are you doodling, Noel?
I'm doodling, but I'm multitasking.
And there's an incredible number of people that are looking in on Facebook. We've got, just on the World Unity Week Facebook, we've got like 35 people watching there, and we've shared it to 14 other places.
So you're like the new Bill guy from PBS or whatever that show was. So this is going to be a regular.
Yeah.
You know, Bob and Noel are amazing. Bob and Noel, you are one world. You are another one world. We've been watching this.
Oh, his name was Bob something. Bob did all the drawing. Yeah, you're the new Bob guy.
Oh. Anyway, they're wonderful. And they asked me to do this. This is my first try, and I researched this camera. So much fun to do that. So you can see here, we started off in here, you know, in here, and it could go anywhere. It could go anywhere and do anything. Okay. So one thing I say is we have to let NoMind have its way. It has to have its way, like back to this drawing, it has to have its way. Like, you know, when we're doing that and you see something like this come out, and again, it would take me a while, but I would go in here and totally add that to every one of those things, you know, so each one of these would get filled in. And I'm beginning to love it as some kind of little thing coming out. See that mistake? Whenever there's a mistake, repeat it. Repeat the mistake to make your mind understand there is no mistake. All right, now, what else can we say? Oh, for all of you who like yin yang and that, do a circle like this, and then, you know, do your yin yang sign, whichever way it is. And by the way, this actually, I saw something like this on Google. You know, I just saw something. There's a million of them. So I went on Google. If something attracts you really a lot, just take and use it as an idea. You know, you won't do it the way believe me, you couldn't do it the way somebody else did it. You doodle, you don't even know their whole rhythmic thing inside, what forms are coming out. So you'll do it your way. So if you like that, just do a circle then. And then, you know, what can you do with that circle? There's so much you can do. For example, here, I could go on and add some doodle here. That's kind of cute. And then I would maybe do it here. And notice, if you're going fast, really try to slow yourself down. The mind needs to get slowed down. The reason we go fast is because of the mind. You know, so that's what we do. Oh, here, I wanted to say that NoMind, the source, loves itself. So the doodle, as you're doing it, you may not love it at the very beginning. But if you go to the point, if you spend some time and you go to the point where you feel it's finished, or you fill the paper, whatever, I promise you, you will love it. Because this is an intimacy with ourselves. It's an intimacy with myself. And it's not the self we're usually used to being intimate with. That self is very worried, tense, miserable, rarely loves anything. And if it does, it has an agenda. This is just a feeling of like, you know, so it's not egotistical to love your doodles, because that's loving the self. So again, you can go back in here and just continue the way it's going. So you get the idea of that. I'd like to, so yeah, NoMind loves itself. Just remember that. Just remember that. Because, you know, what we all love is ourselves. So when I say we create with and as the source, when I say that, one day I was with my mentor, Kenneth George Mills, in Turks and Caicos. I think it's called, I don't know what it's called, the beach there. I forgot if it's Grace Bay. Yeah, Grace Bay, I think. Gorgeous beach. He had a center down there. Imagine that. He had a center in Arizona and Canada, but he had one down there. And we were walking on the beach, and I had given him a guidance, you know, like a channeling that I had received, like many of you might have, or people do a lot, you know. There's a lot that comes through like that. And I was walking on the beach with him, and I had given it to him, and I said, well, sir, what do you think that is? Because I didn't know it. How do I know what it is? And he said, "It is not you, but you are that. It is not you, but you are that." So that's kind of the spirit doodle. It is not me, but I am that. And it's a beautiful thing to think about. So spirit doodling is non-dual.
Can I say something?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
You know, as I'm doing my doodle, a lot of things that I see happening at the same time. One thing that I see is that something, I'll leave it as something, loves to actually make these shapes. It likes to move its hand and make these shapes. It just loves to do it. It loves, almost as if something is enjoying, experiencing its own movement on the paper. It's really something. So I'm making these circles, which then became, I started like as you instructed, with circles and circles within circles, and then the circles began to take off. They radiated outward, as you showed us. And then circles became a joy of movement, of looking at each line as a circle formed within itself, and just enjoying it and doing that in such a way that I could hear you talking, but I was looking at the pattern, but I wasn't really anywhere in particular while I was doing it and listening to you at the same time. Anyway, I could go on, but it's an incredible experience. I'm enjoying it. When you finish, you'll see my doodle.
Yeah, there's nothing better than doodling and listening to something like the way Ron is speaking, or no, how many conferences are we on? Oh my God, Zoom conferences. So the thing I say is buy a notebook, because it's in one book, okay? Buy a notebook. It can be a smaller notebook. It can have different, they're all different shapes. And if you go on Spirit Doodling, maybe I'll post those and see Spirit Doodling with Victoria Friedman on Facebook. And I could post some things about what kind of books and pens to get, and get a notebook. And on the conference calls, here's the only thing is that when I'm doodling on a beautiful call and then I'm on camera, you know, I'm looking down like this. And I always feel they think I'm not paying attention. And I want to say, hello, everybody. I just want to tell you I'm doodling. I think I'm going to put that in the chat next time. I'm just going to say, hey, everybody, I'm here. I'm doodling. And, you know, I'm listening. The listening is happening beautifully like that. So, yeah, because we're in so many calls, that's just a beautiful place. If it's something that is natural to you, I think it's natural to a lot of people, but maybe not. You know, a lot of people have no senses. By the way, presidents, there's a whole book on presidents' doodles. Yeah, they doodled on their desk when they were having meetings and talking, and somebody got those doodles and actually put them in a book. So, you know, there are presidents who are doodling while they were doing this. But I always think that, you know, the whole world is like, it's like a doodle. If you walk out everything that's happening, there's a million flowers out there, that forms, things are changing. It's like one big doodling session. So let me show you something here. For example, you can be a minimalist. You know, you do not have to do a lot. If you like that, just look at this. I just was doing these little diddly lines. I'll do another one in here. I love it. Look at that. Did that ruin the doodle? When we do something in our life, does it ruin our life? If I believe that ruined the doodle, I could take this and squunch it up and throw it out, because this was ruined. So we do something where the mind says, you ruined it. Think about it. So again, like it doesn't have to, it can be very, very minimalist. Like this one too, I thought was really interesting. I just want to start going like this, putting lines like that. Except I was a little more patient. But now, you see, now that I've done that, and I see there's a line that's a little bit stronger here, So why don't I follow that? Follow the doodling. Follow it, follow it, follow, follow, follow. And follow, follow, follow. Whoa, maybe it has another one over here that's going to come out. Follow, 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 follow. Hey, did that ruin it? Did I ruin my minimalist doodle? Okay, maybe there's like a big circle here because this was so controlled with all these little dots. Oh. Yeah. Oh, two people entered. Two people entered the room. Should I click on that, Noelle, or no? No. Okay. So this is what's happening here. And you can see, okay. What else I wanted to tell you? Yeah. Being in touch with yourself. You know, you all want to say we're going to be in touch with ourselves. This is a very intimate thing. We are being in touch with ourselves. You'll feel it. It's like there's only one thing going on. There's doodling going on, and it's happening. Like we are here, we're going on. What we are is always there. That awareness behind all the drama. It's always there. It's always going on. And I'm watching the doodle, but really, in doodling especially, it's easy to see that there's something that is always present, that is allowing this is emerging into something that is always there. And it's not as easy to see that when we're trying to do an effort and figure something out and try to get success and try to make sure it's nice and try to please someone, like a doodle please someone. That really is just very, very difficult. So we do discover being in touch with ourselves. It's subtle, but you have to look for it. Okay? And the doodle will fulfill itself, right? It's in harmony. It'll go till it's done. Like this was done, and now it's also done. It's never not done. It's never really even becoming. It's always just right there. It's just what it is. Just what it is. So, Noelle, is there any way I can see people who are on this? Does that work? Or is it just, am I in the noosphere?
No, we can put other people on, but what I'm going to say is if you want to be on and show a doodle, we're going to give priority to them. Would that be okay?
Yeah, fine. I've never done this, so.
Yeah. So if you have a doodle that you want to share, put your name in the chat and I will bring you in.
Yes.
So there she is. There she is. All righty. You can unmute yourself if you like and have a chat with our artist, Victoria, and show us your doodle. You have to unmute yourself.
Harry.
Hello, Victoria.
Hello.
I was so delighted to, Kenneth Mills is also my mentor, has been since 1978. Yes, I met him. He's an amazing, amazing man. When I saw this course that you offered in my email, I was going through my old art book. I took art in university. And I didn't even realize, I doodled all the time through high school in particular. Well, actually, probably right from grade 1, I was a doodler. But I came across, and I didn't even remember having done this, and I came across this one I did in 2009. And I thought, wow, I didn't remember doing that. So it was great fun. And I've seen your book, one of the first ones that I did with Ellen Mann.
Yeah, right.
Helped you publish, yeah. And I saw that, and I was so moved by your work because I know it comes from the heart. And I find that when I'm doodling, when I'm listening to a lecture, I hear more of it. It sticks. And you're absolutely right with that. And so this is what I've just started this one today. So I'm just having a little fun with it. I like a little color, so I just started putting that
You
in.
have to finish it. And when you finish it, put it on Spirit Doodling on Facebook. I want to see it.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you.
Susan Terry and I, being with Dr. Mills, studying with Dr. Mills, he called it the spontaneity of creativity, because I mean everything he did was that way. It wasn't just the art. Paintings just unfolded. Poems unfolded. And definitely an inspiration for this. I mean, I doodled all my, I don't know if you had notes when I was in school. I would doodle, like you take notes in a classroom, and then I'd have doodles all down the side, and I'd have to rewrite all my notes because I thought something was wrong. But
I did the same.
yeah.
So I understand. Yes, and everything he said, everything in life is new, ever new. So every moment is new and every moment is unfolding. So we are always progressing and ascending in consciousness. So anyway, thank you for letting me.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I love the phrase, the newness of the unchanging.
You also have Helena Goldman.
Yes, that is my sister. Hello, I can't believe we're on this together. Helena, hello. Say hello, unmute yourself.
All right, hello.
She's a mermaid. She's a mermaid.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see it?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, Helena, did you do that?
I just did it now. I think it reminded me of my curly hair.
My sister.
Back in the day.
Wow.
Look at that. We are sisters. Oh my God. She's the sweetest sister. She always says she's not creative. Look, I want to see it again. Put it up. Too fast. Let's look at this. Oh my God.
I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, definitely. You need to go in those places. Find what's inside any space there. Like look inside. Look inside the space. You look inside the space.
Okay.
You look
I
inside.
also have Marcia McCartney is going to be sharing her doodle.
Oh, yay.
Unmute, Marcia.
I'm really glad to be here. This is one of the things that I've done is I call it morning faces. Like, you know how Julia Cameron called it morning pages? I did morning faces, and I would doodle and doodle and doodle, and then I would fill in the doodle with faces. You can see all and it was like a big doodle, like nothing, and then all these faces came. Yeah. And one more I want to share is the color. Your sister was saying she does stuff in color. I don't know if I can find again. Hold on. Oh, here. Big doodle in color.
Oh, I love it. Hold it there for a minute. Don't take it away. We need time to enter a doodle. We need to go inside. Oh my God, Marcia, I would be taking my black pen and doodling inside all those little places too.
Well, I think I'm going to do that, Victoria. Thank you.
Yeah, like just inside there, like that inside of it. I actually got a white pen to try to doodle into the black, but they didn't work well. I have to research more. Yeah, it's an entire universe. That's why you chose this thing over here. It's an entire universe. Kathy Mason, Kathy was here. Is Kathy Mason here?
Yeah, she's still here. She's going to be our next panelist. And I'm not sure if she has done a doodle. If you did, go ahead and share it. If anyone else did a doodle.
Sorry, I didn't do a doodle.
That's because, see, Kathy Mason and Noelle, they're extremely busy. Like extreme sports. This is extremely busy. What is that?
It's supposed to be a doodle.
Stay there. You have to talk, Noelle, so we can put you on full screen.
I'm trying. I can't do both things. Can't Zoom tech and do this at the same time. So I was just trying to doodle along with you, but it was very difficult to do that and admit people and blah, blah, blah.
No. We'll have to have Bob do all that next time. Okay, well, we're getting to the very end of our time. Do we want to stop 5 minutes early so that Kathy can go on? Because we're fine. You know, doodling is not, it's okay. Let's see, let me show you.
Victoria?
I'll show you the doodle that I did for this. This is a doodle that I think, I showed this on the Alan Steinfeld with Unity Cosmos, because you know we're in Unity Earth. We think we're in Unity Earth. We are in Unity Earth. But really, the next step is Unity Cosmos. And I was listening actually to an unfoldment, Terry, of Kenneth George Mills, to an unfoldment. They stream every Sunday. And this is what I did during that unfoldment.
Cool.
I mean, I just, you know, and Ron thinks it's like the spaceship from Contact when it turns around. And I was using this, you know, on the event that we did with, you know, with Alan Steinfeld, J.J. Desiree, on all the things that are coming out now in terms of the UFOs and extraterrestrial life. So anyway, I hope when they come, this is what we will be seeing. I was like, show me, this is being beamed. Like all our work, all our ideas, everything that we do is not coming from our mind. Our mind just helps manifest it, but it's coming from, you know, the unknown. It's coming from the infinity. So perhaps all these things are out there. And of course, I say we're out there too. We're out there. We're not in here and they're out there. We're out in space. We're in the middle of space right now.
Victoria,
space. Yes.
would you please show your book again and just flip through a couple of pages? I love showing your book to people.
Okay.
And I tell them I did it.
Oh, good. Because you know what? You could have done it. Here we go. Here we go. So I did this book with Ellen Mann, my friend Ellen Mann. She, you know, this is just a draft. Let's see. So this is the world of spirit doodling. I love to do hearts, you know, like put hearts in the middle of everything. So we didn't know what to do with this book in terms of what we could write in it, like what kind of content would be here. So we researched a lot of non-dual statements because everything we're talking about here is non-duality. So there were a lot of non-dual statements. So I can just open up some doodles and then here's a statement. This is from a great Indian sage. A quiet mind is all you need. All else will happen rightly once your mind is quiet. Nisargadatta Maharaj, one of the most famous Indian sages. So again.
And Victoria, not to interrupt, but if you do have time, can we see a few of Clarissa the fish?
Well, I have no idea how to get to that now.
Okay.
Now that I've set this up, I have no way. I'd have to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, it'd have to be on my camera. See, my camera's positioned on this thing.
No problem. No problem. I just thought you might have her handy. These are beautiful.
Here's what Freud says. The mind is like an iceberg. It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. That was interesting, right? And Andrew Cohen, if you know Andrew Cohen, this is a pretty wild doodle. The way it happened, this is like the first time something came from nowhere, like off the page somehow. And it just, you know, before time and space, before the universe was born, there was nothing. And then from no thing came something. From no thing came something. And this is the Buddha, the no mind, not thinks, no thoughts about no things. No mind, not things, no thoughts about no things. Okay, so, well, I think we're pretty much cooked.
Victoria, can I say one thing here?
Oh, yeah.
You know, when we think of doodling, think of the birds that we like to post on Facebook with their insane colors. Think of the tropical fish. Think of the butterflies. Think of the angels that have to doodle these creations, that have to doodle the colors of the flowers, because this is exactly what they do. They do it in colors in 3 dimensions, space and time, but they're doodling just like us. They are. And so I can never get over that realization, that appreciation, when I look at this fantastic diversity and variety and creativity that appears in these doodles and appears really everywhere around us.
Thank you both, and Spirit Doodling, the NoMind, Non-Dual, Victoria and Ron Friedman, for spending this hour with us. This has been just tremendous. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for encouraging me, and thank you for making this happen. Really, you're a blessing.
This is just the first time. I'm going to be back for more. This was so great.
Yes, we got to get you to slow down, definitely. We'll never do that. Okay. Bye, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you.